got fired up, and he said, you should be doing life in prison. All of you should be, you, him, everybody associated should do life in prison because the drugs y'all put on the street killed a bunch of people, whatever. And he refused to give me back my gun and said that he would talk to me after he talked to the federal prosecutor to make sure I wouldn't have a Fed case. So about a week later, he shows up at my son's school in the parking lot with a federal target letter on his off day in plain clothes in his private vehicle. It was obviously important to him to personally hand me the target letter. And the target letter said that in a week, the feds were going to indict me. It didn't say on what charges. So I lawyered up, and the lawyer talked to the prosecutor, and he said, listen, they're going to let you do a pre-indictment plea offer. It's going to be less than, probably less than 5 or 6, somewhere in that ballpark. If you don't sign now that you're going to take a plea deal, you're looking at 10 to life because there was over 1 kilogram of fentanyl plus so many grams of heroin and stuff in the seizure. So I said, okay, I'll take it. I'll sign, And the plea deal was for up to 4 years and a year of paper. And I got sentenced, as I said, a couple weeks ago, and I got 2 years. And criminal history point 0, I hadn't had trouble with the police in over 20 years prior to this. So I'll be doing a couple years in a camp, and then I will be doing a year probation. So that's kind of the rough and tumble version of my federal nightmare up to this point.
Wow. So did you get your letter yet?
No, I have not got my designation letter. I asked my pre-sentence PO about it, and she said normally you get them in 2 or 3 weeks. She said, but right now Grand Prairie is backed up from all the people wanting to be redesignated.
That's exactly what mine told me.
Yeah, so she said if you don't get, but look, she said if you don't get it 30 days before your self-surrender, because I self-surrender December 3rd, she said contact the marshals directly. They're the first to find out where you're going. They get notified electronically immediately once you're designated. They don't have to wait on nothing in the mail. And
my problem was I never got the date at my court.
Yeah, your judge didn't determine that?
No, he didn't determine that. At first, my lawyer was like, maybe he might not want to do that, but we got to ask the prosecutor, and the prosecutor said, yeah, no problem. I don't mind letting him self-surrender. This is that.
Right. Well, what you want to do is you want to wait about 3-4 weeks after sentencing and then ask your PO to ask the Marshal Service if they know anything regarding your designation or your date for self-surrender. And if they know nothing at that point, then you want to follow up weekly until they do know something.
Yeah. So it's only been this is about to be my 2nd week tomorrow.
Yeah. So give it another week or 2, and then either you or your PO need to start following up with the Marshal Service because you don't want to miss your date. She said my PO told me she's had some people that literally 2 days before their self-surrender date, they hadn't got a designation letter. They didn't know where they were going, what was going on. And they were panicking, because they don't want to get an escape charge for not turning themselves in. So wait until it's been about 3-4 weeks and then ask your PO to do it on your behalf. If he or she won't do it, you do it. Contact the marshals directly, explain your situation, and say, I just need to know where to go and when to be there. And if they don't,
just give them your case number then, right?
Yeah. You actually, if you know your U.S. Marshal Service number, your inmate number, give them that. But if not, your case number. I mean, they can look you up just your name. They need to.
Because I got the same sentence. I got the same sentence as you. I got 24 months and 2 years supervised release. Was
yours a drug charge as well?
Yeah, it was a drug charge. I had a sale with intent to distribute. It was 7 charges. They dismissed all of them, and they just kept that one.
Yeah,
it was my first charge.
Yeah, they only need the 1 charge. You guys can also call the judge's clerk. Every judge has like a private clerk that works in their chambers, or you can go call Grand Prairie, Texas, where they have the big where the BOP, that's where the BOP has all their lawyers, and that's where they actually do the designation at. They do the big
decisions.
Won't
tell you nothing.
I was going to say good luck getting through to somebody to answer the phone at Grand Prairie, but
Yeah, that's true. It's very hard to get to anybody because I went to the clerk once they said they fined me. I went and paid my fine the same
I paid my assessment fee as soon as I got sentenced before I even took got my plea deal before I even took my got sentenced.
Oh no, I paid it right after. I went there first. I didn't know my case number, so I was like,
right.
I should have just looked at the TV. The TV would have told me because I was on court that day. But then, you know, I just went home and had to get they wouldn't take cash, only money order. So I
Oh,
went
they
to the
took
post
cash from
office.
me.
No, they wouldn't take cash. I'm in New York. I'm in
Oh,
I'm in
I'm in
Buffalo.
West Virginia. Yeah, I lived in New York
York.
before. A whole different thing down here.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Like, but you know, I got the 2 years supervised release, and I'm eligible for RDAP because I had it on my PSR from the beginning. You know, like
Yeah, me too.
they knew I had problems and everything.
So you guys want to explain when you say you had your RDAP on your PSR? People that are going to be watching this later, can you guys explain to the people out there what that means?
What it means is, I think what the best thing to do is to be straight up with them from the beginning. You don't want to hold that back, because if you hold it back, what happens is, you know, they'll tell you, oh, you really didn't have a problem. There's other people that need it. You know what I mean? So it's good to have that in from the beginning. Like I had a pill problem back in the days when I had an operation on my hand. I was at a job and I hurt myself, and I told them about that. And unfortunately, I ended up with a DWI.
Oh, yeah.
Like 2 years before I got sentenced. I've been fighting this case for 7 years.
That
Well,
I got it bad. 7 years, man. That's
7
the feds
years.
for you.
7 years, and now I'm gonna go do my time. By the time I'm done and everything, I should be probably going into 10. And my problem was I was on county probation, so I'm on county and federal probation.
That's right. So you had a detainer that wasn't going to let you go to a camp, but I remember we talked and you said
Yeah.
your lawyer's taking care of that. Right.
So hopefully, like, okay, so now, so both of them, the DWI and my county violation hearing, is this month. So what I'm
Ooh.
doing is basically they was waiting for me to finish with my sentence with the feds. And what I did was I finished my sentence with the feds. Now they want to go on and get everything done. So the 25th will be my DWI, which the plan is they might dismiss it with because my lawyer's putting everything concurrent.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll let that run concurrent with a federal case. Not
A
always,
lot of
but on
lot
the
of times
DUI,
they
I
let
think
it
they
run.
would.
See, like a lot of times they let it run concurrent, even with a violation, if it's in the same state. Feds got you in that same state, then they would run it concurrent, or else it would be double jeopardy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
What was your offense level? Your offense level?
My
Do you
offense
remember?
level was actually a 19, but because I took the responsibility, they knocked the 2 down, and I ended up with 17, which was 24 to 30.
See,
And
mine was
the other deal that they gave me was they charged me as if it's my first offense, because I
Mhm.
was on probation not even 3 months on the county when I got caught up with this.
my offense level was a 32 because of the quantity and the type of drugs.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, mine's that's they take that a lot more serious.
But they dropped, because the accountability, they dropped me 3 levels to 29. And because I got sentenced based on statute rather than guidelines, because of the pre-indictment plea offer, which was really my golden ticket in this situation, the judge actually sentenced me like 12 or 13 levels lower on the guidelines.
Yeah, and so how much was the prosecutor offering?
The prosecutor wanted me to get the full 4, but because I had a pre-indictment plea offer, I wasn't indicted ever. So
You know,
I got.
I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of disappointed at court for what the way they did it to me, because you know I haven't had no violations or nothing ever since the DWI. I was supposed to get sentenced 7 months after, because I have no co-defendants or anything.
Well, see, I don't have co-defendants technically either, because my ex was dealt with by the feds separately.
Yeah, okay.
But the thing is, like, I thought too, at one point I thought, I was on bond with the state for 1.5 years, no problems, haven't been in trouble in 20 years. I'm on, I'm pre-sentence with the feds, no problems. This should help me, right? But
Yeah.
that's wrong. It's not going to help you, because the
I mean,
feds don't get.
it did help you because the prosecutor wanted 4, and at the end, you
No,
got
that was my max. With my statutory sentencing,
Oh, that was the max.
4 was my max, right? The prosecutor wanted the max. So the
Oh,
thing is,
mine was 20, the max.
ooh, baby.
And the problem
I'm
was,
clutching my pearls at that 20.
no, like, and the
Shit,
thing was,
I'm at 20 years, and I'm an offense level of 7, and I'm at 20, and mine could be up to 20 years, and I got an offense level of 7. because
Oh wow, you got a high one.
it's
You
on,
got very-
it's on an aircraft.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but my offense level is only 7.
I was a little nervous, too, and I was thinking like, oh man, this judge got appointed by Ronald Reagan back in 80 something,
I
and I'm
got
like,
you beat. My judge was appointed by President Ford and is the longest standing federal judge in the country. He's 90-something years old.
oh my god, and mine's is like 84. You know what I mean?
That's too
I
old.
think they should make a law where it should be illegal for them to sentence you at that age.
Honestly,
So-
though, my judge is sharper than my attorney was. I mean, my judge was sharper.
No, but I know, but listen, like the people go through stuff, and you
Right.
know, like okay, when you guys had to talk to the judge, did you guys talk to the judge before sentencing or after?
Right before he dropped my sentence, I gave allocution, which is where you
Yeah, I
you
ain't
speak on
been-
your own behalf.
Mine, they made me
I
do
ain't
it
been
after.
finished yet.
After, like I
Oh
told
my
them, I
God,
was like,
really?
After,
like,
like,
what is it
that's
gonna
not going to
matter?
make him change his mind. After, really?
yeah, I was like, I swear to God, it was after, and I was like, I was in shock. I looked at my lawyer and I was like, you know what? It's all right, man. I just want to get this over with because
Yeah.
my thing was the court changed my court date. I was supposed to get sentenced 2.5 years ago. The court kept on changing it because of COVID. I did everything I could, got my vaccines real quick, everything, because I wanted to get this over with. Because 2.5 years ago, I would have been out, if
Yeah.
I'm eligible for RDAP right now, basically 4 months off, 6 months halfway house, and 6 months for reduction. I'll be doing 10 months. But because of so that means I would have been halfway through my probation already. And I thought
That's
maybe
horrible.
the judge would take that into consideration, which he really didn't. But to each his own. I'm the one that put myself in the position I'm in right now. So I was like, you know what, thank God. Like Sean said, once you get sentenced, you do feel a sense of relief, no matter how much they give you.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
finally
mean?
Yeah,
over.
you know that-
Now you can
Yeah,
face what you got to
so
face.
you know exactly what's gonna happen.
Yeah, there's a deadline for when the nightmare ends, which is awesome. But what
Yeah,
I was trying to say a few minutes ago, was I thought because of all the good things, all the bond and the no problems and all this, that was going to help me. But a friend of mine, who's done Fed time, who actually works in law currently, she was like, "Baby, don't bring that up. You're going to piss your judge off. He's going to think you're acting entitled. You put yourself in the federal courtroom. He didn't put you there. And for you to say, give me a reward for doing what I'm supposed to do, after he done gave you the blessing of letting you be on pre-sentence, which was a gift and a half, she said, you're going to insult him and he's going to give you more time. Do not even mention the fact that you've not been in any trouble in 20 years prior to this, the no trouble on bond for a year and a half, the no trouble with the feds while on paper. She said, because if you do, it's going to be a smack in the face because they didn't have to give us pre-sentence, but they did. That was a gift. And so, and that was a very generous gift on their end because we weren't entitled to it, quite frankly. You know what I mean? So for us to go in there and be like, oh, you gave me a gift and I didn't break it up against the wall, so now give me something else special, is real insulting. So definitely those who haven't been sentenced yet, please do not watch my videos about this and learn something, but please do not hurt yourself by going into court and saying, I participated, I need a trophy. I did the minimum of what I was supposed to do, or I ain't done anything worse lately, and think that that's going to make you look any type of way that's positive in front of your judge. He already knows you ain't been in trouble because he's got that paperwork. He read it before he came in the room. So for you to put that in his face, oh, I've been a good boy or a good girl since you gave me a little freedom, I didn't abuse it. That's not something they're going to stand and applaud you for. They're going to say, well, no shit, that's what you were, part of my language, that's what you were supposed to do. So what do you want from us? Like, you know what I mean? Be glad you got the opportunity to not get in more trouble.
Yeah, you tell
Yeah,
him.
I think she's absolutely right, but at the same time, it also depends on what situation you got going on. Like with me, I got mental illness, and I'm a veteran and all that. They want to hear that I'm in treatment for my mental health, so I need to bring that up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't tell nobody that. They shouldn't say that. It all depends on what you're going through. But you're absolutely right that you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to. But if you have, like with me, mental illness, you better bring that up that you've been going to the VA and then getting mental health treatment. But but if it's just something, you're a normal person and you ain't got no issues, and you're saying, I've been out of trouble, that ain't gonna look right. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I have mental illness. A lot of people don't know this. I've had PTSD. I've been diagnosed since I was a small child. I went through a lot of abuse and torture that's well documented until about the age of 11, where I had to be hospitalized with a complete psychiatric break. And as an adult, I still live with PTSD. I'm 40 years old. I have night terrors like a child sometimes. You know, I have anxiety where I feel like I can't breathe when I try to leave my home sometimes. But prior to, you know, here recently, I wasn't even getting any mental health services because I'm like, you know, I can make my life appear normal and I can perform my basic functions within my home. So, you know, I'm impressed about all that. But I did mention at sentencing, I understand that me being a mentally ill person, you know, impaired my judgment in my commission of crimes. And in light of that, you know, that was 2 years ago, and I've realized this. I have since been in therapy bi-weekly, you know, twice a week for over a year now, in an effort to make amends to the psychiatric, you know, thought process that has allowed me to be comfortable committing criminal activity in the past. So, you know, they want to see that you're doing things to prevent recidivism. You know what I mean? So if you're doing something that, especially it's not court ordered to prevent recidivism, you want to bring that up, whether it's therapy, whether you're doing community service. They call that restorative justice. Judges love restorative justice.
Yeah.
But, you know, anything like that you want to mention. But if it's something that you're just following the terms a judge gave you, then that you don't want to mention.
Yeah, they want to see like I did a year of drug program. I went to this drug program, and the counsel said, "Listen, you're free to go in a week." I says, "No, I want to do this. I want to do this for longer than that." And
That wasn't court ordered for you?
No, it was
Oh,
court ordered
good
for me.
job.
It was court ordered for me to go, but then she was ready to release me, and I told her, "No, I want to keep going," and I ended up doing almost a year straight with her.
Oh, so you stayed extra long time. And so I got a 90-day program. I stayed 6 months, but I didn't get any applause from the judge. Hey, you stayed 3 more months.
I mean, you
got a drug problem, young man, and you're here. I'm about to sentence you. I'm glad you went through a program and stayed longer, but you got nothing coming, you know.
He got somewhere else. He's gonna send you to stay longer.
They might say you want to stay longer in prison too.
Yeah, I did the school. I went to school for the whole time, like the whole 3 years. But what messed me up with the pandemic is because, you know, I was doing 20 hours a week. You know, I was fighting to get my GED in order to go into HVAC because I do construction. So,
That's good.
yeah, so you know, I'm good at heating and cooling, but I want to become certified. But then I was like, you know, I was stuck in the middle where, okay, should I go to the school, and then they sentenced me 3 months later because, you know, your life is hanging, you don't know what's going on.
Right.
But now that I know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in there. I'll finish my. I'm supposed to take the test this month for my GED and pass it. But I was like, you know what? The hell with it. I'm just gonna go in there and take the GED in there, finish that. No, you know why? Because
the feds will make you take your GED. Everybody has to do that while you're in there. I mean, that'll stop you from going to a halfway house. So they'll make you take your GED.
But your pattern scores are lower if you already have your GED. So if you can get it before you go in, get it. Okay. You want your pattern scores to be low. This is going to be significant for you.
What I'm saying is like the timeline that I'm going to get, which I'm estimating probably around 45 days the most. I have to turn myself in. So basically,
you also get $25 put on your books when you pass a GED. Little perk, you don't.
Yeah, so my test is going to be about it's supposed to be like 4 or 5 days. You know, I was never able to keep going with it. You know, straight up because I was stuck in between. So I was like, I looked it up in the prison, like the one that I'm trying to get to, which is, you know, I'm still not 100% sure because it's up to the BOP. I'm trying to get into the HVAC, and in federal prison, the HVAC is 2 years.
Yeah, you're not going to be there long enough to really do that. I mean, you could maybe get started.
I mean, if I don't get the RDAP, I'll still be there for like about 14, 15 months. That's still not enough time to finish it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Plus, there's waiting lists to get into that. Just because you arrived, there's people have been waiting a year to get in that program before you show up.
I just rather get it there. And as soon as I come home, go straight to school.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I already talked to the school. There's like, yo, when you get out, everything is good. We cover you. We cover everything. They're paying for everything. there's a, you know, if you go to a counselor that you went to a drug program for, and the counselor could write, there's a paper that they could write up for you that you covered for that school, and you learn something. You know, a skill is a beautiful thing to have. It'll make
I always tell I've had a lot of friends and family go through different state systems and fed systems and that kind of thing. And I always tell dudes I know who have a driver's license when they come out of prison, but be it state or federal, go get your CDL, because there are contracts you can sign that'll pay for your schooling as long as after you get your CDL, you agree to work for a particular company for like a year, like Swift or US Express. And here in Charleston, I live in West Virginia. An hour from my home is Charleston, which is the capital. They have a CDL school, and they're contracted with different different shipping companies, I guess, for lack of a better term. And if you agree that you will work, and you're getting paid good money, you know, you're not working for free, you're not an indentured servant for these people for the first 12 months after you graduate, then they will pay for your education. And, you know, doing CDL, you know, a lot of my people, my friends and family have been involved in selling drugs. That's why they went to prison, you know, which ironically here I am too. But, you know, so you kind of have that uneasiness, like you want to go, you know, you have a restlessness and kind of in your spirit. And, you know, when you have your CDL, you're driving. If you want, you can drive 5 days a week, 7 days a week. You're going across the country, you know, you're in motion. And as you're making a really good amount of money, you don't have time to spend it. So when you do go home, I'm not going to say you're going to have the same money you had when you were flipping kilos, but you're going to be doing a lot better than your cousin or your friend who works at a warehouse 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So you still can have your nice clothes, your nice cars, whatever it is you like. You're still on the move a lot without having to risk your freedom. So I always recommend that.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm originally from New York City. And
I moved here from New York City 13 years ago from the Bronx.
Oh, I lived in the Bronx.
I lived on 173rd and Weeks by the Concord.
I was on Kingsbridge and 194.
I know where you was.
The worst.
The worst. Boogie down.
Yeah. So,
you know, man, I really like the fact that you guys all get to talk to other people that are going. You guys are all going through this together, and like here you get people that actually understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? Our friends and family, they don't know what we're going through, right? You can't really talk to them. They don't understand. I'm glad you guys are all in one room talking about that. But I didn't mean to interrupt.
My family owned that store, Kingsbridge and Creston.
Yo, that sounds familiar a little bit.
Yeah, the deli, right?
Is it by a chicken spot?
Yeah, no, that's across the street from it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
It's a deli grocery, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is, you know, I'm Arabian. I'm Middle Eastern. I was born and raised there.
Here's a fun fact about me that I never share on any other channel. This is a COWGILL exclusive. I'm a Muslim. I don't advertise that because it brings me a lot of flack, you know, in day-to-day life. So, you know, and I'm very moderate, obviously. But so I keep it very private what my religion is. But I don't know if you're a Muslim or not. I know a lot of, you know, people Arab descent are.
So the feds are very respectful of Muslims. They'll let you pray 5 days. You can have rugs sent in from your family. They have a special catalog that you can get, you know, through there's a chapel, and they give you 5 times a day where you can, you know, go off your job, whatever you need to do. They have a special halal menu. They also have the kosher menu, but they're very respectful to the Muslim people, and inmates and staff are very respectful. And Ramadan, how do you say it? Ramadan. That's that's probably the biggest holiday in the federal system. All the kitchen workers have to work double shifts. Sometimes we don't like that because we got to stay late because you can't eat till the sun goes down. But they feed you guys good, so you'll be able to practice your faith in the feds.
Sean, what's funny is that the way she explained it, that, you know, when you're working a long time, you see your money. So I used to work in that store 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. It was my cousin's place. And it's just like she said, I did the graveyard from 12 midnight to 12 in the afternoon. By the time I got out, I was so tired. I'll just go home, take a shower, relax. And at the end of the month, it's like you seen your salary right there. Like you You couldn't take it nowhere. By the time all I could do is buy a pizza, a slice of pizza or some Kennedy Fried Chicken. You know what I mean?
Slice and a soda, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
dig it.
So it's very true. Like the more time you give yourself on something, you know, you save your money and stuff.
Yeah, CDL is a really good thing to pursue, especially for men. Because, you know, with women, we usually have kids to worry about. I know for me, while I'm incarcerated, my youngest child will be with his father. My eldest child's already an adult. She's grown. She's independent. But when I come home from prison, I intend to get custody back of my son. So for me, a CDL is not really a very good option. Not to mention, I already can't park for crap with a car. So please don't even think about putting me in a semi. But, you know, but for men, you know, if you don't have small children dependent upon you, it really is an excellent opportunity to get your CDL when you come home.
Yeah, I think every prison has CDL classes right now because at least they'll get you the permit. Some camps let you some camps let you take a field trip to the DMV and actually get the CDL. Some camps
I didn't know that.
But they all have at least to get the permit, get you started. And then and then when you get out, it's called the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation or Department of Rehab. So if you've done any prison time or institutional time, like a drug program, you go to this Department of Rehab and they will pay for truck driving school. They'll pay for a computer. They'll pay for your clothes, any truck driving tools you need, or carpentry tools or plumbing tools or whatever trade that you're into. They will pay for all that and get you through the school. So, you know, look that up when you get out, when you get to the halfway house or something. That's another valuable resource. Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. Every big city has one.
That's good to know.
You know, Sean, I think that's the best thing for a person to do, man. When you go in there, you're gonna have so much time to spend time on your mind, your body, and your, you know, and to better your life, you know.
And they're hiring felons right now. The ships are up. I can look out my window in the bay and the ships are sitting out there, the cargo ships, you know, and the truck drivers, they really need drivers right now.
I was gonna ask you, when they were driving, like when they were doing driving, like taking, you know, inmates to the hospitals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was were they being like, you know, did they have a guard next to them when you had to drive them?
So I had to go get a hernia operation, and there was a guard that took us on his off time. It was overtime. He took us in just a little, you know, regular car. Like there was 3 of us in the back seat, 1 in the front. He took 4 of us. It was just a little, I can't remember what kind of car, but it was a 4-door car, and he didn't handcuff us or nothing. He even stopped at Dairy Queen for us, bought us burgers. And then we had to go, well, this is after we had our surgery. And yeah, he was really nice to us. Other times they have inmates take you to the hospital. It just depends. But yeah, we never got handcuffed or nothing. The guy he told the correctional officer or staff guy, he's going, I'm getting $400 to take you guys here today. So he was happy about it. And he didn't, you know, like I said, he bought us a cheeseburger and a milkshake.
Yeah, there you go.
They gave him money for that, and it wasn't out of his pocket, but you know, we got to go out of the car and go up and order our own food, you know, and sit at the table outside. It was nice.
Bob is having an issue.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, look at the bottom of your screen. Bob, look at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, I put the ask to unmute. See if you find it.
Unmute.
I
okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Hey,
hi, Bob.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, you can hear me? Hey, how y'all doing?
All right.
Good.
Hey, I'm gonna give you just a quick little short overview, and I got a question since we're all going through the same thing, and some of y'all's kind of been through it before. I know Sean has, and but I got a 63-month sentence about 2 weeks ago from PPP fraud. My restitution is $270,000, but the only reason it was the only reason I got 62 months or 63 months is because it was like conspiracy added with an enhancement. Because I helped my wife and my mother-in-law get a PPP loan and unemployment, and then I lost my acceptance of responsibility because I made a post on my Facebook page, and I kind of mitigated my crimes, like because that's the people that I make money from. You know, I got a Facebook page on forecast the weather, and I got like over 100,000 people that follow me. So I didn't want to.
Now I know who you are, Bob. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, Snowbird Bob. Yeah, and anyway, that the judge took that and the prosecutor took that, so I didn't get my 3 points off. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of what I did. But my big question is, on my PSR report, I got a medical marijuana card, and also I've been taking pain pills for 4 years prescribed. But it shows on there, I didn't never tell them because I thought that by telling them that I was smoking weed and taking pain pills, and I'd say I take pain pills too much. I take all my pain pills that I'm prescribed. I get like 90 a month, but I actually take like 100 a month. Okay. So I never told them I had a pain pill problem because I didn't want them to, I thought that was maybe getting me like more of a charge or something. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot of people that make that mistake, and no, that's actually you should tell them. Then the judge kind of understands why you did the crime. Plus,
oh, really?
Yeah, they're not going to give you more time because you're an addict.
Well, it's documented on my PSR report that I do take pain pills, and I got a medical marijuana card. Do you think I could still get the ARD out?
Yes.
Yeah, if it's in the alcohol drug section of your PSR. I know, Bob, we talked on the phone about this. I think you said it was. Yeah, and you got 63 months sentence. You got plenty of time to do the RDAP. You shouldn't have a problem. It's all.
Okay,
you got documentation too. So.
Yeah, I got documentation. Yeah, the only other question I got, my last question is, what are y'all's opinion on? I thought about quitting my because I don't report to November the 4th. Okay, so that's about 2 weeks out, a little over 2 weeks out. I thought about quitting and then detoxing my own self in my bedroom, at home. So if I go in there, do they give you any kind of detox? Will they detox you, or like
no? You're going to suffer. You're going to suffer. I mean,
do it now. Do it now.
You would say do it now.
Yes. Do it now while you have the comfort of your own home, while you can have medical assistance through the detox process.
My buddy
Otherwise, you're
Tom just got in the room too.
cold turkey under high stress.
I like.
So y'all would recommend doing it at home.
They're not going to give you lithium or anything to taper you off. No, you're on your own. You're on your own.
When I first got indicted in 2017, in 2019, and my charge was from 2016. I had gotten deep into tabs and into pills and stuff like that. And the worst thing in the world is to do those stuff. And I was so terrified that, maybe they're going to send me in now. I wasn't scared of the jail time. I was scared of going through that process of jittery and just going crazy. And I'm like, you know what? I put myself right there and then I quit. I locked myself up in the house for like a month, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. It was the worst feeling on earth. But after that month, I seen heaven. Like, I was like, you know what? Thank God. That now the weed, I'm sure you're not gonna go through, withdrawal.
No, I did it like I've quit like 3 times in the last 4 years, and usually the second and third day is the worst for me. I feel like I got the flu with soreness all over my body. I got chills. And then about the fifth and sixth day, I feel normal again. I don't need to take a pain pill. Like. So if I got plenty of time to detox now before I go into to detox in the camp.
You definitely do. You'll feel like a person on top of your game when you walk in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna wait until I get there. I thought they may give you some kind of Suboxone or methadone or some kind of treatment.
They're giving you none of that. They're not giving you none of it. You're lucky you get Benadryl.
Yeah. I hear you.
You can pay a copay and wait a month to go to medical, and then they'll tell you buy yourself some ibuprofen off a commissary.
Yeah, I've seen that on commissary. Yeah. I appreciate that. Y'all, I appreciate y'all telling me.
No, that's very important. But basically, that's the most important thing you should do is get that out of your system. Yeah. Not because of them. When you turn yourself in, you're worried about what they're gonna say. You give a shit what they say. But the thing is, go up in there. For yourself to feel better as a person.
I need to quit. I do got bad back problems. Like I had to go every couple months and get back injections, and I got like herniated discs and bulging discs. I've had 2 surgeries, one on each wrist in the last 2 months of a
That's how
carpal
it
tunnel.
That's how it started. That's how it
So
started with me, man.
I've needed the pain pills, but I don't really need them. I mean, I'd rather not take them than take them. You know what I'm saying? Because it kind of it impacts my family a little bit. Because if I take too many, I start getting kind of bitchy to my wife and stuff. I don't want to do that.
But you know, hopefully by the time we get out, you know, everybody's situated. You know, they passed that law. We could get a marijuana card, because the marijuana card don't mean nothing in the feds.
Yeah,
They're gonna license you.
You're gonna have to wait to
Yeah, I
get
got
off
my marijuana
probation to
card
use
right
that
there,
marijuana card.
I
Yeah,
tried that shit.
that's not gonna
I
do you
tried
any
that.
good till you finish probation.
Yeah,
I said,
know.
you guys want to give me the devil. You want to give me alcohol and give me all this other stuff. You tell me I'm allowed to do this, but you know, I just want to take a blunt, you know, smoke a little joint, feel better. I bet you everybody the life would be easier in jail if it was allowed to smoke weed.
Yeah, I wish they would.
But you know, it's not.
I mean, if you want it in there, you can get it, but I recommend you don't, because they'll throw you in the shoe. They'll send you you'll do time in a medium facility instead of a camp. You don't want that. You get caught with that, and
I got my friend. My friend told me
they'll take away your good time. A lot of things can happen.
Damn.
My friend was a big pothead, and he's doing 5 years right now, where I'm supposed to be going. And he told me, he said, listen, just to let you know, I called him, and he said, do not smoke weed in there. Do not do nothing. He said, that is the worst feeling on earth. It's not the same high you're going to get when you're on the street. He said,
paranoid
is healthy and everybody's after you. He said, from weed, he said, better off just to keep a clear mind, you know, build yourself, you know. The best thing I think the advice he gave me was, you know, to learn as much as you can. He said, every opportunity you can when it comes to learning something, you know, something you don't know, you know, you want to learn it. Like, you know, like I've been doing carpentry for 20 years. And if I don't have nothing else to do but to take a 3-month program for carpentry, I'll take it. You know, you know, sometimes you learn something that you don't know, you know.
Yeah. Got a question here from TJ. It says, did anyone else have a quick PSR interview? TJ hasn't said anything. So did anybody have an answer for that?
Mine was like an hour.
Yeah, mine was like 30 minutes.
Yours on the phone?
Tom's got his hand raised. Go ahead, Tom.
The biggest mistake in my whole process was my PSR report, because I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And the first interview I got was from a young gal that I thought I had developed a lot of rapport with. And I believe she wrote a good PSR report. But then when we were approaching trial, they called me into a new PSR agent, and she just beat me up because I started to explain myself and why this case was a little cockeyed, and how the judge should know this and the judge should know that. And she said, the judge isn't going to get anything but what's written in the report that I rewrote. And it was a very negative report.
Yeah.
Now, you're allowed to have your victims, your view in the PSR report. That's your last chance to get something in front of the judge. If you take a plea deal, the judge will never hear your side of the story. Not even at the sentencing, the judge will never hear your side of the story. The only place you get to put your side of the story is in your pre-sentencing report. And so you're going to have to work to get that in your pre-sentencing report. You're allowed to have your version of the facts in your pre-sentencing report. You have to be very careful. Now, your attorney is going to recommend. My attorney took my version of the pre-sentencing report and took it away from me and said, we're not giving this to the system. I never understood why, but once you sign a plea deal, you better be careful what's in that plea deal, because you can't say anything different than what's in that plea deal. So you need to balance your plea deal agreement with your pre-sentencing, your version of the facts, but you got to get that out there, because that may be the only thing the judge sees that might help mitigate your circumstances and give you a better sentence. So pre-sentencing report is something very important.
That's a slippery slope, though. I know for me personally, I knew ahead of time before I did my big PSR, after I took my plea deal, before sentencing, that when you sign that plea deal, everything in that plea deal, no matter how much at some point in time you may have not agreed with it, you now commit yourself to that. You now commit yourself to, yes, this is the truth. Otherwise, you're saying you perjured yourself. And what will happen too with your PSR is anything I said in my PSR that in any way, shape, or form could have been construed as me giving my side in the sense of like an explanation of myself, I'll always on the back end hit it with, and I know what I did was wrong. And I wish I wouldn't have done this. And this was horrible of me. This was horrible judgment. You know, I'm taking responsibility. And you have to really reiterate that, beat that horse into the ground. Because otherwise, if you contradict what you said in your plea deal, that could be another charge, first off. And they're certainly going to say you're not taking responsibility for yourself. Second off, if your interview in your PSR comes off to the probation officer that you're not taking the maximum amount of responsibility you can for what it is you've been charged with and you agreed to in your plea deal, then again, it's looked at as you've not taken responsibility. And that will be in your PSR. Your judge will see that, and that will really give him a really bad impression of you before you walk in that courtroom. And
That's
you don't
absolutely
want
right.
that. You want to humble yourself a lot.
That's
Yeah, I think
correct.
that probably 95% of us that's going through it, it's already been through it, kind of like a quarterback throwing an interception. You know, they wish they could have that back. I wish I could do my PSR over again, man. If I could do my PSR over, I'm about 95% for sure I would have got a better sentence. And, you know, I mean, I'm sure probably some of y'all would wish y'all would have I know Tom said he wished he could have done, different, better PSR. I mean,
my PSR went really well. I'm really happy with how it went. And I think had it not went as well as it did, I think I would have gotten the full 4 that the judge could have given me.
Oh, so you think your PSR was good? Huh?
It went very well, yes.
Yeah, mine, they didn't spend a whole lot of time on me. What happened is my attorney started out thinking that my restitution was only $53,000. So, okay, he thought this for like 6 months, and this went along for 10 months. He thought for 6 months, even up until my PSR probation did my PSR report. He was there, through all this. He thought my restitution was like 49 or 50,000 or whatever. So he thought it was just going to be probation. My attorney thought that, public defender, and then finally, like 2 months for this, he was like, your sentencing's coming up. And he was like, oh, it's going to be nothing. Yours is nothing. I was like, well, wait a second. It's going to be nothing. I said, my restitution is $270,000, not $50,000. I said, my damn guidelines is 26. He said, oh. So he jumped in there and had to fight in the middle of it because he didn't realize I had 270,000 restitution until like 6 months into it. So it screwed everything up for me. But he should have paid attention, I guess.
See, that's the same thing I'm worried about. My PSR was like 15 minutes right after my guilty plea, and my lawyers, I think, just ain't worried about it because my offense level is only 7. But I'm like, man, I know how important that PSR is, man. But it was like 15 minutes. I'm like, how is this person gonna get to know who I am? You know what I'm saying? In 15 minutes.
Well, when your PSR, one of the things you need to keep in mind for those who haven't done it yet is you want to be as thorough as humanly possible without excusing yourself of accountability. So like when the PSR, when they say, so when was the last time, when they ask you anything, you don't give it, there's no yes or no answer in a PSR ever. You always expound on things. My lawyer got annoyed with me because I was taking so long. He actually, in front of the PO that did my PSR, said, my granddad used to say, if someone asks you the time, you tell them, you don't tell them how to build a watch. And I just brushed it off. And the lady who was doing the PSR actually kind of had my back. And she was like, oh, we can be here all week if you need to, Miss Thompson. So, you want to be overly thorough, but you want to have in your head what you are and are not comfortable with divulging too. I mean, don't get in there and think it's a confessional, because it's not. But you want to make sure that you are overly thorough. Elaborate greatly on any mental or physical health issues you have. Elaborate greatly on the circumstances at the time of your crime. Elaborate greatly on any and all substance abuse. and make sure that anytime you say anything that could come off as an excuse or justification in any way is always on the back end hit with, and I was wrong for that. And I wish I would have never done that. And I know I will never do this again. Or I can't believe I put myself in this situation. Or that was so irresponsible of me. I feel horrible. You want to make sure that the highlight of the situation is you're expounding as much as possible, but you're also really driving home the point that you are a humble person who has been humbled, if not before, by this, and that you are certainly taking full responsibility for everything you agreed to in that plea deal, and that they can rest easy that you will not be recidivizing.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, Phoenix, I wish I had you in that damn interview with me.
Yeah, me too.
I swear, my PSR was like 15 minutes. My poor wife was in there with me. She had a daggone a toothache because she needed to get to the daggone she needed to get to the doctor, but we had to go to my plea, so she had to take that instead of going that day. She went with me for me to plead. But yeah, man, it was like 15 minutes, and my lawyer is just like, that's because you don't have an extensive record. But yeah, I've been in prison 30 months. She was like, it's not, and then your offense level is so low. We've already established that you're looking at from 8 to 14 months. But I'm just like, damn. I mean, that was the quickest PSR. I was stressed more about the PSR than my guilty plea, and that thing took 15 minutes.
Well, I can't go back in time and redo your PSR with you, but I do have several videos on my channel about preparing for federal prison, socially, spiritually, financially, economically, emotionally, mentally. Watch those, like seriously, watch those, because there may be a lot of things that haven't occurred to you that can be beneficial. You know what I mean? And I really want, just like Sean, I want people to help people with what I know and what I go through as much as possible, because it's only because of people like Sean that I've had some buoy in the waters through this whole nightmare other than Google. So, so we really have to utilize the human resources that are available. People are offering themselves up saying, hey, I want to help. I want you to be informed. I want you to be prepared. Accept that with open arms. Seriously. Like, I can't begin to say how much Sean particularly, I mean, I didn't even start my YouTube channel until I talked to Sean, because I was like, I'm not even tech savvy. But, watching him and talking to him gave me the confidence to feel like I can do this, and I need to do this for the same reason he does. I need to do this because I need to give back. I need to help. I need the good karma. I need all of that. And I want that, on my as much bad as every individual in life has on their conscience, their bad deeds, you want to outweigh that with good deeds, with good conscience. And if I know I can put something out into the universe that people have access to that can be beneficial to them, that I can be of assistance, I want to do that.
Thank you, Audrey. I know it's tough going through this alone, and it's her channel's Fed Phoenix, guys, and it's got Audrey, you've done so much research. I mean, every little video I learned from your channel. And then Bob, you got a Facebook channel thing too. What's the name of yours, Bob? Is it Extreme Weather?
Snowbird. Yeah, it's the weather. Snowbird Bob on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, and anybody else that wants to plug a channel right now, or if you want to help me, if you want to start a YouTube channel, I'll be glad to help you all I can. Anybody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Sean is the man with this. Just saying.
Yeah, he is, and that's what I was going to tell you, Sean. I don't know how long I'll be out. I should be out at least 2 years, or maybe a little less, after I take my RDAP and all that. But what I was going to tell you, Sean, you may be already bigger than me by the time I get out. But if you're not, what I was going to do, man, I was going to give you a big plug, have you come live on my channel, and because I have started a little blog, like, along with forecasting the weather, and that way to give you a real big plug.
Thank you.
Out there. Yeah, I was going to do that after I get out of my prison sentence.
Okay. Yeah, love to. You'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anybody out there starting channel, I just did. There's a guy, Harvey Talks Prison. He's a new guy.
Mhm.
I got him. I had him on my show. I just had RDAP Dan, but he's big.
Yeah.
I like Harvey.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So anybody wants, I'm always looking for I want to help the underdogs, the little guys out. So,
Yeah.
So any of you guys that's listening, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, you want to come on the channel, you let me know and all that. But anyways, enough of that. TJ has saying here something. When you go for sentencing?
They haven't said it yet. They haven't set the sentencing yet.
They don't have the
TJ,
date set.
there may be time to work on that pre-sentencing report and amend it.
Yeah.
Did they give you a copy of the draft of it yet?
No, that's what my lawyer said. She's waiting on. She said we're going to get it and we're going to look at it. And she said if there's anything that we need to change, we'll change it then.
Okay,
But
good. So there's time. There's time to fix it.
Oh yeah. I'm just really been stressed out about it because it didn't take long. You know what I mean? That's all I've heard was like how important the PSR was. And so when it only took 15 minutes right after my plea, I was like, damn, that's pretty fast.
That's scary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, when you get your pre-sentencing report, maybe we can have a private Zoom call and coach you a little bit. Fed Phoenix is a really good approach to that. And so when you get that, if you want, get with Sean and we'll set up a private Zoom call, not recording it, and just kind of give you suggestions of what you might do on that pre-sentencing report to help yourself.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I know I'm looking at 8 to 14 months, but if I have a bad PSR, the judge may feel like he wants to go above that.
Yeah, and with a good
Right.
PSR, you may walk away with a unicorn. You may find yourself riding off onto the probation sunset. But
That's
Yeah,
right.
that-
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah, that ain't
I've
gonna
seen
happen.
people in your category with that 12 to 18 months get probation here lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
I'm in zone A, but I just came from state in 2019 for DWI. I did 30 months, so that's gonna be a knock on me.
Well,
Because the
yeah,
judge
but because of this COVID and stuff here lately, though, they're giving out more probation than normal, though. I know
Mhm.
that. When you're
Yeah, I was
well
seeing-
down there, when you well down, say level 17, 15, below that, they're giving a lot of as long as it's
Yeah, I'm at
nonviolent,
7.
as long as it's nonviolent, they're giving a lot of probation. Yeah. No
Yeah,
incarceration.
Yeah, I'm like Fed Phoenix. That's that unicorn. everybody
Yeah.
saying
the golden egg.
Yeah, that ain't happening. No, I would like to see it happen, but I don't see probation happening because
Yeah, well-
then I got a criminal history of a 4, category 4. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah, if you-
8 to 14 months.
Yeah, if you didn't have that back criminal history, you know what I'm saying, you could get
I mean,
probation. 'Cause I've seen it lately.
You know,
the judge
and
likes to
all
hold that against you. He likes to say, "Oh, so you haven't learned your lesson. You have a criminal
Yeah.
history,
exactly.
and here you are. Now you've made it to federal court. Now you're in the major leagues, and the
Yeah.
judge is
Yep.
going. You couldn't make it in the minor leagues. Now
Mhm.
you haven't learned your lesson yet. So you
Yeah, and
get that hold. They're going to hold that on you, but
Yeah.
you're not looking at much time. But they're going to want to punish you, and I hate to say that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I can go. I'm a example of that because I had a open detainer down in Louisiana for this guy said I committed I don't know, money laundering or something. I worked at a car lot, and he said I stole like $3,000 or something dollars. It was his word against mine. There wasn't no solid proof, but I had open detainer, and it was on my PSR report. I had a criminal history of 1, but I've never been in trouble before. But I had that little case where they want to bring me in and question me down in Louisiana. I'm in Arkansas now, that's where I live, but I know the judge, when he reads the PSR, that's on there. You know what I'm saying? So the state is going to actually let my federal sentencing counter out my that detainer down in Louisiana. Do you see what I'm saying? They're going to let the federal totally wipe out that detainer in Louisiana. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
No, I ain't never
I've
heard
heard
of
of
that.
you getting
Never heard of
state time, and if your state time is less than your Fed time, they run concurrent a lot of times. But as
Yeah.
far as canceling out a detainer, no.
You
Well,
got
yeah,
to make a
well-
motion to that jurisdiction to request that they consider that.
Tom's absolutely right.
My attorney's already talked to him, and he said that they was going to let my my federal time cancel that out. That because if not, I wouldn't have been able to go to account.
And you
So
know,
I get
the reason that's important, Bob, is when you're getting ready to be released, they're going to check and see if you have any detainers. If you have any detainers, they're not going to release you. So you have to get that detainer resolved now, because you don't want to just think that it's going to get put aside because of your federal time, because nothing falls through the cracks in the system. And if you get to the end of your sentence and they find out you have that detainer, they're just going to transfer you to that jurisdiction upon release. And then they're going to that jurisdiction.
Yeah, well, what I was going to do is, when you go in, a lot of times they don't, pull any kind of record on you or whatever. The main thing is when you getting out, because if you got a detainer or something on you, not only can they hold you and let them come pick you up or something like that, they can also take away your good time or RDAP time, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do while I'm in there, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hire an attorney and make sure all that gets taken care of. That way, when my release date comes up, I promise you, I'm going to be squeaky clean. I'm going to be ready to get out there, man.
Documentation. With the feds, you need documentation. So if you get that detainer taken care of, retainer, documentation, and get multiple copies made. When you paid your assessment fee, keep your receipt, make multiple copies. You need multiple copies so your loved ones can send them in. If they don't get to where they got to go, they can do it over and over again. But documentation. And any lawyer you hire from the inside, make sure you're holding him accountable. You might be an inmate, but you're paying him. And tell you want documentation. You want bi-weekly check-ins to know what the heck is going on. And anything he says has happened motion-wise in that situation, you want to see the documentation of as well.
Yeah.
Because people will try to play you because, you're an inmate. So what are you really going to do? Are you going to show up at his office and throw a temper tantrum? No. Can you really go interview other lawyers? Not really. So don't let him, take advantage of you. Have a point of contact person on the outside that has a power of attorney that you signed, so they can act and speak on your behalf, and let your lawyer know, hey, my cousin, my wife, my best friend, whoever is going to be checking in for me and giving me updates. They need to be getting all the paperwork, and everything. They need to be kept in the loop.
Yeah, my wife will do it, or my brother will do it. In fact, my brother's up here visiting us now from Louisiana. He wanted to see me, visit me before I go in. And I got my brother or my wife can do it for me, but I got to make sure that
one person who you trust the most to be your point of contact person. And I mean, seriously, it's not a personal thing. If you choose your brother, choose your brother. If you feel more comfortable with your wife, choose your wife. And that's something that you don't need to be apologetic for. You don't need to tell that, if you choose your brother, you don't owe it to the wife to say, sorry, baby, I know he's not going to divorce me because we have the same parents. No. This is your life. This is your future. This is your stability. And this is you coming home. So whatever you got to do to make that happen for you, nobody has a right to be offended by that, especially because these are the people that were eating off your criminal activity. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. Well, I got one. And I mean, y'all go ahead. Y'all got something ahead of me. I was just going to ask y'all's opinion about something.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, this is my plea agreement that I took back in February, and it was my plea agreement. It was for false information, wire fraud, and money laundering. And in my plea agreement, the whole time up until like 2 months before my sentencing hearing, I thought that they was only going to be able to charge me what's in my plea agreement. Like it says the $52,000 for the wire fraud, where I got $52,000. And then I drew out $24,000 cashier's check from the bank. I took my truck and traded it in on another truck, and the $24,000 was money laundering, because anything $10,000 or more. So I got wire fraud.
You did this after the plea deal with the money?
Oh no! I'm saying this is all in my plea deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, this in my plea deal. I got 3 charges. The false information is because I got unemployment in Louisiana, and I was supposed to get it in Arkansas. And then my wire fraud was because I spent $10,000 or more when I drew out the cashier's check. And then the bank fraud was because I got money through a financial institution where I lied about my income being more than what it was to get a bigger loan.
All right.
And what I'm saying is, I thought that all that is in this plea deal. I thought I was only going to be able to get sentenced to what was in my plea agreement, but come to find out, and I was like I was selling all along, wasn't in, wasn't stressed or nothing. Thought I would do, maybe 6 months or probation because it's only $50,000 or $52,000. And then I come to find out about 2 months before sentencing that they can charge other stuff than just what's in your plea. Is that true? Can they charge you? Because they charged me with $270,000 restitution, but I signed a plea deal right here for $52,000.
Are the guidelines written down on your plea deal that your offense level, like whatever it is that written down there?
Yeah, it's low. It's like 20. It's like 20 something months or whatever.
No, the offense level, like 21, 22. What's their number?
Yeah, it's like 21.
And your category 4. Hold on, I got the chart right here.
Oh, that ain't low, Bob. That's not low. I got a criminal history score of
51 to
0.
71. That's
But
51 to 71 months. I just checked. So that's
A 21 is how much?
51 to 71 months. That's a 20-month gap, 20-month window. 51 to 71 months. So that's
Bob, you need to look at that sentencing guidelines chart.
Yeah, you need to look. It's not that high, Sean.
You said 21. Well, okay,
I
but
got a 26 and I got 62 to 73 or 63 to 72.
you said category 4. You're category 4, right? Or first offense.
What's your offense level?
No, I'm category 1.
Oh, I got you. That was for category 4. Hold on, let me look. 21.
Yeah, but what's his offense level? What's your offense level?
Yeah, 21. But my criminal level is 1.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
30,
but that offense
37 to
level
46. I just looked. Yeah, I thought you had a
37 to 40.
category 4.
Yeah, 31 to what?
31 to 46, I believe.
Yeah, and they gave me 63 months, but that's what I was wondering. Can they charge me with more than what I signed my plea? That's what I was wondering. Do y'all know that?
Yep.
I mean, the feds can, but they usually don't go above the guidelines.
Yeah, they usually don't do that. That's
really?
unusual.
They don't usually go above the guidelines.
When he sentenced you to that.
But see, I'm thinking you think you're category 1. You think you're category 1. They may have gave you the guidelines for category 2 or category 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Because
you only think it's a first offense.
Yeah. Unless the judge, because if the judge goes over those guidelines, he's got to put it in writing why he went over the guidelines.
Who's got a phone ringing?
He would even tell you that in court. Like before he sentenced you, he'd be like, "Well, I'm sentencing you over." You know what I'm saying? And he'll tell you why. Because if they go over the guideline that's on your plea, they've got to put it in writing. The same way that they go under the guidelines, they got to put it in writing.
To clear that up, I talked to my appellate attorney Friday. It was my attorney and my appellate attorney together, and my appellate attorney said I got a pretty good chance at the appeal because the judge went. He gave me more time than what the actual statute.
Yeah, when they give you an upward departure, you can always take it to appellate court.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sure can. You sure can. But now you got to be careful. You don't want to piss them off either.
Yeah, the appeal attorney said that he charged me 63 months on one of my crimes was only a 5-year max. And also he didn't listen to my allocution video because I got real bad anxiety and a panic.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about that. That's right.
Yeah. And my appeal attorney said that that's like kind of sort of like taking away my one of my 8th Amendment or something about not giving me a chance to make my allocution.
Yeah, but you know what, Bob? But you know what too? You know what else was affecting you? I remember when you said that they didn't give you the points for the acceptance. That's a big part of it. If you don't, if they feel like you're not accepting what you did, there's no telling what they'll do to you. But that's a big part of that's
I forgot about that.
Because
I'm sorry. And Bob,
ahead,
you said that your lawyer was confused about the dollar amount, which is obviously very significant in this case, for the first 6 months. So he didn't actually properly prepare, which, by the way, you need to tell your appellate attorney that you want to consider a motion for ineffective counsel. Remember those terms.
Same thing.
Ineffective counsel. Because
that's right. Your lawyer, what Audrey said about your lawyer. That's right.
But I was going to do that Friday, but my attorney and my appellate attorney was on at the same time, and I didn't want to talk down on my attorney with my appellate attorney on the same
Bob,
Zoom call with me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get it, and you seem like a really nice guy. But here's the thing. If you put a gun to my head, I will rip your throat out with my teeth. And I'm a nice person. They're putting a gun to your head. Your freedom, you're seeing your children grow up is what's on the line. F-U-C-K his feelings. You see, I censored that. But, you know, F his feelings. And just blatantly. There's no reason to backpedal. What's he going to do? He going to fight you? I think you could probably whip his butt. You know,
it seems like you don't care about me now, really.
Yeah, of course not. His
No,
job
you've been sentenced. They're done.
Yeah, they're done with you. So,
They want to go to the bank and count their money now. Yeah. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah.
I almost filed a motion for ineffective counsel. And I actually wrote up the motion with a U.S. attorney who was in Florence with me. He had been convicted and sentenced for embezzlement of clients' money. He was a pretty sharp guy. You remember him, Sean? Bob McAllister?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, we worked for 7-8 months, almost 9 months on my motion for ineffective counsel to get a new trial.
Yeah.
And so my personal attorney came up and spent the day with me when we were getting ready to file this motion for ineffective counsel. And he said, well, that's fine. You probably will win, but are you really ready to start over? Because when they have a new trial, you're going to be in pre-trial for, 18, 24 months.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have another trial. And by the time you go through that, you're going to be out of here.
Yeah.
So you really need to decide how, you need but even worse, when you file a motion for ineffective counsel, you know what happens to your previous attorney? He becomes a witness for the U.S. attorney against you. So all of that client confidentiality that you had is gone when you file that motion, and your previous attorney who you used to go through the first indictment is now released from representing you, and he becomes a witness for the U.S. attorney.
That is terrifying.
I mean, there's so many things you don't know in this process, but when I found that out, because my attorney knew all sorts of stuff and had all sorts of documentation, and all of a sudden all that documentation was going to go to the U.S. attorney, and his testimony was going to be his knowledge that I had shared with him over 3 years. And so my private attorney said, you could actually get a longer sentence.
Yeah, I've read about that. And see, Tom, that all the stuff you're talking about there, I read about that, within the last couple of weeks since my sentencing. And it really, man, it's kind of a bad idea to get to do, to whatever, file for a new attorney. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, it can draw it out. You can get a new sentencing, and it can actually be longer than what you got. I mean, it's kind of like, hey, on that part, you can file your other motions like, other stuff. But as far as getting a new attorney, man, it can really come out and bite you in the butt on the end if you do that.
And if you're paying that appeal attorney, they don't really have a dog in that fight. As long as they're getting paid every month, they don't care if that thing goes on 3 or 4 years, and whether you have a 1% chance or 90% chance of winning. I mean, I learned a lot about attorneys, and they're officers of the court. Their first loyalty is to the Justice Department.
Yeah,
and the court.
That's exactly right.
You're secondary in their responsibility to the courts. Yeah. And so they always have to maintain this decorum of working within the system that they're first loyal to. This TV view of defense attorneys is wrong. Those attorneys don't fight for you. They process your indictment and your conviction and your court cases. They don't necessarily try to get you off or defend you. My attorney never once defended me in almost 3.5 years.
You're exactly right, Tom, because I'll give you a good example of that. About 6 months ago, when a lot of the attorneys were still doing the Zoom from their houses. You know, a lot of attorneys wasn't working at the courthouse or had the office at the courthouse. When my attorney still was at his house, he was talking all this smack and stuff about what he could do, and talking how bad the government is, and talking politics and all this stuff. And I swear to y'all, man, when he got transferred from his house back to the court, you know, to the courthouse where his his original office is, it's like he was a different attorney. It was like, I was like, damn, man, this guy, it's kind of, it seems like a conflict of interest anyway, because he's a court appointed attorney for the government. So it's almost like that you're right, the government is first and then you're second. But he really had a bad, like a totally different personality, the way he was talking, you know, to me about how bad he was going to whoop up on the government. He got this, and trust me. Well, shit, I told him at the very end, I said, I trusted you. And I got freaking the most high sentence that you can possibly get that I've seen with the CARES Act, 63 months. I said, I trust you.
Bob, but just remember, I'm not the smartest, I'm nowhere near as smart as the rest of these guys are. They know a lot more, especially Ted Phoenix and all them. But one thing that I really kind of feel with your case is that it was because of that acceptance, man. That shit is major. You know what I mean? That's
I know it.
I think that's how he went over, man.
They gave me like 2 years. They gave me like 18 to 2 years more with losing that acceptance.
It's more than just the point that we think about. Like, okay, the point they look at it as though, okay, he ain't trying to learn his lesson because he's not accepting. He don't feel like he did nothing wrong. I think that's the only reason why you got so much. But
Now, Bob,
right.
do the math on 63 months. Okay, you're going to get the RDAP. That's a year off. Your sentence, at least 6 months halfway house, another 10 months good time. It's 28 months off. You'll probably even get 37. A little more. What's that?
I did the math, 37.
Yeah, 37. I mean, 3 years. You might even do less. You're there long enough to even get some First Step Act credits. Maybe you do 2.5, 3 years. Can you live with that? Or do you go fight this thing and you don't know what's going to happen?
Well, see, that's another question I had with the calculation. So I've been calculating it wrong, man, because I thought I was going to be like 18 months. Because here's how I was calculating. I was doing 63.
You got 6 years sentence. So
five new math.
No, I got 5 years.
5 years and 3 months.
Yeah, I was calculating. I was doing 63 minus 15%. That gives me 53 months. And then I was doing 53 months minus another 10 months. And I was counting for the 10 days of the 10 days a month you get with the First Step Act. Okay. So do you get your 15% automatically from the government, and do you get your
15% comes right off the top? That's the first number you erase. But you're talking about the First Step Act. You got to earn those. And you're not going to get
is iffy right now.
Yeah, good
luck.
luck.
I've been hearing a lot of people say that First Step Act they ain't even been using it.
What?
Nope.
Yeah, but what I was saying is like you can, most people can get their 10 days because my probation was off here the other day and he was talking about you can get your 10 days, but get that because you can get up to 15 days off each month, but you ain't gonna have, there's not enough time in the week for you to do your other stuff and everything. Because you'd have to work like 40 hours a week to get 15 days a month off. But
you need 8 hours of class. 8 hours of class work equals 1 day.
Yeah. So
you're not getting 15 days a month off. I'm just gonna let you know right now.
They're not giving that. These case managers, you know how that goes, right, Tom?
You're not getting 10 days a month off.
I was just doing it. I was just doing it by the 10 days a month off, and they said they're starting in February of 22 to starting to give all their first act credits out. You know, they said they was gonna start that in February of 22 because they ain't really been giving it ever since 2018 when it passed. They said there's been so much trouble and everything with everybody. A lot of people's griping about it, and talking to our attorneys, hiring attorneys over it, and they're finally getting it all together and finally going to start releasing people and giving their time, that good step time. The First Step Act time in February. So we'll see. I hope so. it's not going to impact me right now, but I'm just saying for the people that needs it right now, you know.
Just a little sidebar. I had all that good time, and they called me in one day and said, "Do you want to go home next week?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "Well, you go to the halfway house, you'll be there 48 hours, and you go home. You can finish your time at home." 4 months later, I was still in Florence Federal Prison camp.
Damn.
So
I'm sorry, Tom. That's horrible.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's there's nothing fair in that system, and it's hard when you're inside the fight. So you just gotta psychologically be prepared. You try to get every day off you can, but the system is brutal and unfair. And RDAP gets a little better because they have a prescribed system to get you in and out, but you have to do all your, but when you're not in RDAP, they didn't let me out, and I thought I was a model inmate, but they didn't they kept me 4 days in the halfway house that I was supposed to go to for 48 hours, kept me 2 months.
Damn, man.
So I got 3 weeks. I got 3 weeks off of my sentence.
That ain't worth a damn.
So I don't want to discourage you. I just want to give you the reality that,
So I need to go in looking at doing 3 years. Don't look at all getting any kind of time off.
Bob, you might want to just surrender to the world and do your 3 years. And can you live with it?
Yeah, that's right. That's about the best way you look at it. That's the way. I ain't even been through this yet, but I'm already looking. I'm somebody that looks. I expect the worst and hope for the best, though. But that's the best way to look at it.
I mean, if you resist fighting and just do the 3 years, at least you can go on with after that.
No, I'm not gonna fight it.
Because all this, talk that we've been doing, it's just gonna. I mean, you know how stressful it is on pretrial. Now you're gonna keep doing that, and I mean, you got to realistically, you got to look at who you're going up against. It's the federal government.
Yeah, they can.
I hate to say it.
Yeah, they can pretty much do whatever they want to. And they at the end of your time, they can either give you a good time or give you pieces of it. I mean, they basically can do what they want to.
I mean, you just take your punishment and move on with your life. I hate to say, but you might want to consider that.
And Bob, I think we've all had times where we felt like, if my story was really known, they would have been more lenient, or they would have to be, because I'm not that horrible. I'm not whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. Just let all that shit go. Another thing too is expect to do the 37, but all the extra, and that's what's good behavior in RDAP in your case. But do all the extra classes and stuff you can, because when you come home and you're on probation, you might, after about a year of probation with no problems, and you did all this extra programming and stuff in prison, you can start appealing to your judge, filing motions to ask to get off paper early. Now, you'll probably get denied the first couple go around, but this could ultimately, even if it don't get you out of prison sooner, doing all that extra programming can ultimately contribute possibly to you getting off probation sooner, whether it be 6 months early, a year early. Either way, it's more freedom quicker. You know what I mean? So look at it as an investment, and your time will go a lot faster the more you program and keep yourself occupied, and that'll help you stay out of trouble. So I mean, just go for it, but expect to do 37 with good behavior in RDAP.
All right. Damn, man, I've been thinking ever since September 20th, I've been thinking like 2 years or whatever,
Whether it's 2 years or 3 years, it's horrible. But this can be the best 2 or 3 years of your life. It was for me. I mean, I read 200 books. I read probably 500 magazines. I don't know how many newspapers. I worked on my brain. I worked on this muscle up here. I was miserable in there. I didn't have any friends. I mean, a few friends. I was alone. But I made it a chance to rediscover who I was and to plan the rest of my life and to become the authentic me. Then the other thing I would add as we're wrapping up is when you're in there, your family is going to, I mean, you may think you have it bad. Your family's got it worse.
Yeah, because I got my wife of almost 19 years, and I got a 16-year-old daughter. Yeah.
And what you want to do is you want to write them long letters every week, very intimate long letters every week. You want them to be so appreciative of you. And don't put the burden on them that poor me, I'm going to prison. It's poor you guys. I'm so sorry that I'm not going to be here to love you and support you. And I will make it up to you, I promise. But they have it worse. They have to face everyone. They're humiliated. They're shamed. They don't have the economic support. They don't have you. All sorts of things go through their minds. If you want your family when you get out, you better work on it every week.
Tom's right. In your family's mind, you did this to them, and that's the way they're looking at it. You did this to your family. It's hard to accept. It's hard to accept. I know.
And I did, and Sean did, and we all did. And you have to really own that. That's your reality now. And now, what are you going to do with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Bob, let me tell you some experience. I'm sorry, Tom.
From now until you go in, spend as much one-on-one time with your family without this burden of your sentencing and incarceration or trying to feel like poor me around them. Be the leader of the family. Be a positive force before you go in, and continue that when you're in. But you cannot spend enough time with your loved ones, because when you get in there, I mean, look at me. I had to love Sean. That's the only guy I had in there.
Yeah.
It was bad loving Sean.
Hey, Bob, let me give you some advice.
Me and Tom ran the 7 Habits class.
Hey, Bob, when I did my 30 months in state that I did, I learned a valuable lesson that I'm gonna take with me with having to do this bid is, man, you can't control nothing in that world inside there. So don't be arguing with your wife. My wife ended up divorcing me. We ended up getting married again after I got out. But because, man, I was so busy trying to handle it, like I was still handling everything like I was out there in the world. It doesn't work like that. All you're gonna do is get on her nerves. And you're gonna look crazy on the phone, yelling on the phone, arguing at it. Everybody's gonna know your business. So whatever you have going on, be nice on that phone to her. Don't let other people see, because then they're gonna know your weakness. But just whatever you do, and that's what I had to learn from my 30 months, is you cannot control what's going on. When you're on that phone, talk nice as you can, because they're gonna take that with you. They're going to take that conversation, because that's all they got is that conversation with you. So if you're using it for that time to accuse her of things or fuss and argue and cuss at her, it's going to backfire on you. Do not do that. That's just a mistake that I made.
Yeah, and Bob, tell them you love them every day right now. Hug them today, tonight. All your family that you care about, tell them they need to hear those words. I love you. Tell them that every day until you go in. It's going to mean the world to you when you get there. Because I don't know if you say that, a lot of people don't. We're raised in families now where we don't tell each other we love them. It's assumed. They need to hear those words. I don't know how you raise your kids and wife and all that, but start today. Verbally tell them you love them. They need to hear that, man.
Yeah.
You got a lot to think about, Bob. I know. Yeah.
Bob, you're going to find this as a blessing. You're going to think this is part of the best part of your life in terms of changing your life and figuring out what you want to do with your and your family's future. This is going to be good when you get out of there. It's crazy to hear that. I know where you are. I was the same place. I was worse. I was so bad when I went in, I had a stroke and I couldn't even get out of bed for weeks. I was a mess. And but I slowly healed myself, and I slowly realized that this was the one time in my life where I own all my time. I own all my time, and I can spend it doing something positive for mine and my family's future. Learning is a big thing. I had people send me books in every week. And like I said, I read 200 books. I hadn't read 200 books my whole life, but in 35 months, I read 200 books. And well, you get to be a speed reader because there's nothing to do in there. You can sit around and talk to the guys all day long, but that's a waste of time. And you can work out, you can walk the track, you can play sports. but you just have so much time, and it can drive you crazy if you don't have something to do with that time.
Yeah.
And a couple of things I want to say to you, Tom, in closing is, things that I say to myself daily to get through this is just a slice of your life, a slice. That's it. No more, no less. And you will get through this because you have to, period. You have to. And so you will, because that's who Bob is. And, it sucks. It's shitty. The days are going to be slow. Hopefully the years will be quick, but it is a slice of your life. So while you're in there, prepare for what comes after that, because there will be something after that, and you can choose to make it greater.
Yeah.
And Bob, I'm in Arkansas too, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm in Arkansas too. I might see you in there. I'll get sentenced here. Probably November, December. I get sentenced.
I'm going to Forest City. Yeah.
Forest City. Oh, you already know where you're going? Man, I heard that. I don't want to go there because I heard it's rough.
Yeah, me too. That's nothing.
I heard it's rough.
Yeah, I
TJ
did
jumping ship on you before you even get there.
Yeah. That's about 40 miles to the west of Memphis. They're kind of going toward Little Rock,
Yep. That's where they're
I heard the low and the medium is rough, but I heard the camp was okay. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The camp may be rough too. I don't know.
Now, if it's a camp, the camp would be straight.
Camp's usually not rough. Now, I was at Florence, and our penitentiary has a really bad reputation. Every week somebody was getting shanked. Remember, Tom, the alarms we used to. That's a real bad place to be, the Florence Penitentiary. But the camp was not like that.
Well, I hope that's the case on this one too. Yeah.
Good luck.
Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Bob, you know for sure that they're sending you to Forest City?
Yeah. I got I didn't get my letter, but my attorney sent me an email and of the letter or whatever, and it's got my number on it, and it's got Forest City Satellite Camp, November the 4th by 2 p.m.
Oh yeah, you're going to the camp then. You good.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a good thing, because I didn't want to go to no medium or low, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to a low. I already know I'm going to end up going to a low.
Oh, really?
I'm either going to a low or a medium. I don't know. I'm trying to calculate my points. I'm at either a 12 or a 15. I don't know.
Well, I think a 12 is a low, because I think if you're 11 or below, you can go to a camp, I believe.
12 to 16 is a low, or is it 11 to 16? But you got to make sure you self-surrender, TJ. And I know you know that we talked about this, but I doubt you're going to a medium, especially with that little amount of time. They wouldn't even know what to do with you. Just put you in the waiting room.
Yeah, I wish I had that.
Well, guys,
I wish I'd have got my acceptance, man. Man, that would have helped me a lot. If I'd have got my 3-point acceptance, I would have did like 30-something months or 33 months or something like that.
Well, I want to thank all you guys for coming on here. Now, it's been about an hour and a half, and maybe we'll call it a day. And Fed Phoenix, check out her channel, guys. Thank you. And Bob, your Facebook again, or your YouTube channel. What is it?
Yeah. Snowbird Bob.
And you have YouTube and Facebook, or you have both, right?
Yeah. No, I got a Facebook. Facebook is Snowbird Bob. My YouTube is the Extreme Weather Guy. Okay. You got Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. Yeah, I got a Twitter, Snowbird Bob, Instagram, Snowbird Bob. Instagram, Snowbird Bob. Yeah, everything's Snowbird Bob.
All right. Tom, it's good to see you too, Tom. And Tom, I'll catch you on Wednesday night, Monday too. The other thing we do for Wings for Life International. That's a nonprofit group that helps the families of inmates while you go to prison, and they're also helping the inmates too. But that's the organization that offered me a job. I'm waiting for a transfer, and I'll be seeing a lot of Tom down there in New Mexico. Anyways, any last words, anyone?
Yeah, I
Thank
just
you
like
for-
to appreciate everybody's advice and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Take
guys.
care, man.
Hopefully we'll see y'all next week. I think I got Jason from North Carolina. Did you meet Jason, Tom, from RDAP? Anyways, he went through Florence. If he'll come on, if not, I'll find somebody. See you guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All right.
you.